supercomputer was invented, right? Cray 1. How much do you think the supercomputer costed at that time? The price of a supercomputer? Any guesses? In millions of dollars. How many $1 million did the supercomputer cost in 1976? $5 million? Okay. It was $2 million. Cray 1 was $2 million. And the Cray 1 processing power, which was $2 million, was less than the smartphone that we have in our pocket today, which cost maybe $300, $350, right? A really advanced smartphone with 26 sensors cost you about $350, converted to Indian rupees, is more powerful than the 41-year-old supercomputer that was invented. So what's the takeaway from that, right? The takeaway is that we are now in the 21st century where processing power and the price that we pay for processing power, the unit cost of memory, and convergence of technologies is so rapid, almost every 6 months you have a quantum leap in the feature set that you can now own in your pocket. And the smartphone revolution is actually already transforming the use cases in our lives, right? Smartphone today is almost an appendage. It's an external organ system to our human body, right? In China, last month, they had the first official death of a young boy who died of internet addiction, which means the kid lost his life because somebody took away the smartphone from him and put him in rehab, and he could not survive the trauma of not being connected to his smartphone. Yeah? So it's literally as if somebody had done an open heart surgery without anesthesia and the guy died. So this is documented evidence that smartphone has become not only part of our daily lives and the features and use cases and benefits that we derive from it, it's also part of our mental being, and that has a huge impact. And why is that important to understand? Because all of AI is directly linked to human beings' understanding of our own processes of intelligence, right? How do you define human intelligence? Can anyone define human intelligence? Anyone? Anyone wants to go? Give an example of how you can articulate what is human intelligence. Any takers? We know what it is. You know, we act from human intelligence. We grow because of human intelligence, but it's very difficult to articulate and define, you know, what are the cause and effect principles of human intelligence. You can't really, you know, archetype it. You may understand the structure of the brain. You may understand the structure of the neurons. You may understand how, you know, synapses and chemical jumps between one nerve cell to another nerve cell in the brain actually affect learning. You can invent techniques such as mind maps to, you know, use your brain a lot more friendlier and to enhance your memory techniques, your ability to access your own memory and reproduce. However, can we define human intelligence? Extremely difficult. Can we define electricity? We know what it does, but can we define it? It's very difficult. You can try and describe what it does, and through that process, you can make an attempt at understanding. And what's the point I'm trying to drive is that artificial intelligence is at that point in human history where human beings are beginning to understand their own intelligence and their own structures of thinking, their own design of what is consciousness and what is body and what is mind and what is brain. And as we understand this and as we deepen our understanding of these principles and the structures of nature, and we embed it in nature, we are making progress in AI. So human intelligence and our understanding of HI will allow us to progress in AI. This is the linkage which I wanted to bring out, right? And why is that being possible today? You know, India being ancient land, right, where people already had invented many impossible things which are still mysteries today, thousands of years ago, when there was no TensorFlow, there was no Google, right? But they already built stuff and did things which are today mysteries to human life, right? Scientists are still trying to discover how it was done. So what's the difference between the intelligence and applications that people did thousands of years ago versus what we have today? The difference is today, the 21st century technologies of semiconductors, memory, power, software applications coming together is helping us to accelerate our human intelligence, using our human intelligence as a key factor into the era of artificial intelligence at a very, very accelerated pace. So that's the baseline which I wanted to establish. So in my view, the AI revolution has about 5 key pillars, so to speak. So machine learning is something which we heard about since morning a lot on stage. But in a nutshell, what is machine learning? Anybody? Any takers? Absolutely. So what is an algorithm? Fundamental question, right? Just to make it easy for everyone. Let's demystify. Let's break it down to stuff which everybody can understand. What is an algorithm? Anyone? What is an algorithm? It's fairly simple, I think. Set of rules, yeah. Yeah. See, you guys already know the answer, right? I'm just trying to connect the dots which already exist with you in your brain. You already read about it, right? So machine learning is nothing but what Google called as the spiders when they invented Google about 15 years ago or 20 years ago. And what were these spiders? These spiders were nothing but very cleverly written algorithms that could search millions, zillions, trillions of records and then return in record time a result on the search engine which was hopefully relevant to what you were seeking on the base. Yeah? So that was machine learning. And deep learning is also a subset of AI. And very, very briefly, because we're running short of time, the applications or use cases of deep learning which we are engaged in today to make robotics a reality, to make autonomous cars a reality is basically image recognition, natural language processing, voice recognition, and text recognition. So these are 4 key use cases of deep learning. And deep learning can be done in various different ways, and we can conduct a workshop for a complete day on deep learning, but we don't have time for that. Computer voice and vision, blockchain, and quantum computing. Because we don't have time, I'm not able to get into the details, but these are very, very exciting areas where a lot of R&D and work is happening in India as well as around the world. So that's the connected ecosystem which I wanted to quickly show you. The key principle here is you have a 130-year-old automotive industry which you see on the right-hand corner, and this automotive industry, which was multi-tiered, is now collapsing. The structure is collapsing, and what you now have is a smart mobility solutions ecosystem where automotive OEMs are just one of the players. They are not the only players. So you also have companies which produce AI, artificial intelligence, smartphone. We spoke at depth. You have the millennials. Consumer behavior has completely changed. Children born after the turn of the century, they only believe in how many likes they get on social media, and that has a huge impact on the way they buy and consume things. And of course, networks are getting advanced. 5G is coming in. 5G is designed for device-to-device communications, not just for mobile telephony, and that makes a big difference. And all of this together is contributing towards the smart mobility ecosystem and revolution of the world. These are some key dates: 2020, 2025, and 2030, when we see smart mobility becoming a reality in most countries around the world. And this is just a structure of how we at HCL produce software to keep in line with the automotive innovations of the world. So that's my presentations. Happy to take any questions. Any questions? Sure. Oh yeah, sure. I can give it to you. I can give it to you.
Question?
Yeah. No, he wants my contact details. I'll give it to him.
So is there anyone else who want to ask something? Any question? That means they understood everything. Sir, can I get you here?